Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I hope your day is going well. Got an early morning here. Got to run right after I record this. But today we're going to be taking a look at the SC Elite V4. I've done a half marathon and a 12 miler in this shoe. And I have to say, impressions change from the first half to the second half of the run. Okay, first I want to get the specs out of the way. 8.5 ounces ish for my men's 8.5. It's pretty heavy considering my previous, I guess, like super shoe was a Vaporfly 2, which I have since moved on for reasons I will talk about. Obviously a full PIBA midsole, got the Energy Arc plate, and after 25 miles, which is not a huge sample size, grip is pretty good. I mean, no noticeable rubbing of the outsole. Everything looks good after 25 miles. They're broken in. Love the design, the colorway of this shoe. And I'm happy to get it out for a marathon pretty soon. I got a marathon in less than 2 months, or maybe around 2 months, that I've been in a training block for. I believe it's a 4mm drop. Pretty flat shoe with that tapered rocker. Got the Phantom fit, again, like on my Rebel video. I think it's great. Maybe a little extra room in the material. The tongue is not the greatest, but I don't get the problems I do on like the Boston 12, where like you tighten to get a lockdown, and then your tops of your feet are just screaming during a run if you don't, lock it down right. I think the fit is great. The heel doesn't have a lot of material, but this black composite plastic piece does provide some structure. In terms of super shoes, from the ones I've tried and just general trainers, this is the most stable super shoe I've probably ever run in. So hopping over to the Vaporfly real quick, extremely, unstable, very fast shoe. So it was interesting to go from running in this the last 2 years for, marathon type efforts, half marathon efforts, long run, speed work, just doing some of the more intense stuff in my super shoe. Yeah, definitely a change of scenery. So when I come out the gate wearing these Vaporflies, I mean, I feel fast. Pretty easily I can work up to that, my top pace, which is about that 6:30 per mile, 6:20 per mile. And I can hold it for the most part, but where I find the Vaporfly 2 for me just kind of made me hit the curb is not those first 6, 7, 8 miles. It is those last, X amount of miles, the second half of the race, where I feel like this shoe betrays me endlessly. I mean, I'm not saying that for every case, the SC Elite V4 is the better option than the Vaporfly 2. I think if I was racing a 5K tomorrow, I'm choosing these. And that kind of bridges into the SC Elite V4 and the namesake of this video. So I'm not going to talk about the Vaporfly anymore, other than my experience with it is that I'm fast, I'm nimble out the gate, but that second half of the race, I feel the pain in my calves, the pain in my Achilles, some rubbing on the bottom of my foot, some instability, and that's for me. And I almost always have to basically take 2 or 3 days to recover after a race in the Vaporfly 2s. That is not the issue with this shoe. I've done 2 long runs in this shoe greater than 12 miles or 12 miles or greater, so 25 miles in total. And I was ready to run Monday morning. These kept my legs fresh. Usually when I'm done with the long run, I kind of just take a moment to sit down, have some fuel, drink a coffee. Like after these, I was able to just like go about my day and walk around. Not saying that the Vaporflies caused me to be like disabled for 2 or 3 days, but it just, soreness, achiness. Did not get that in these. On the flip side, getting into the long and steady, I came out the gate, both runs in these, kind of questioning what it was doing for me. It's really easy to turn over in the Vaporflies to that, like top pace efforts, the 620s for me, the 630s for me. I was not getting that in this shoe. And maybe, let me first preface that by, I run the same half marathon route, that same, like anything greater than 10 miles, I run the same route. It was a windy day both days, because I wore these for a half marathon last week, and then I wore these for a half marathon this week. So, trying to keep a controlled setup for comparison. And I believe temperature was about the same route, same fueling, all of that. And with these, I definitely did not come out the gate as hot. And while I'm talking, we can put up my stats for the 2 runs of the half marathons I did in both these shoes. And what you'll see is almost a 5-minute difference in these versus the Vaporflies. Although the start in the Vaporflies was a lot more fast, compared to this shoe. But this shoe kept me steady. I steadily pretty much kept up that 7-10, in the earlier miles, that 7-ish per mile. Then it was about 7-10, and altogether finished around, I believe, that 7-minute per mile mark. I have the entitlement of running in like a 6.7 ounce racer versus an 8 point. So it's almost a 2 ounce difference. But in the realm of super shoes, I did feel the weight, but it was balanced by, for me, the roll. I appreciated the stride in this shoe, how your foot comes off the ground, and B, just the comfortability. Yes, weight is nice when it's low, unless your legs are dying at mile 11 and they feel like a brick anyways. So, relatively, the weight, I felt it in the beginning, but as my legs stayed fresh throughout the race, I was thanking the shoe. Really, after mile 6, mile 7 is where I started getting really confident. I started noticing my legs were super fresh. And that's where I was able to maintain those 7s, maybe even drop below 7s. For me, the SC Elite V4 was a major upgrade for what I need and want in a super shoe from the Vaporfly 2. In 2 years, outsoles coming off, it's time to retire these. And I'm curious to see where the Endorphin Pro 4 lines up. But for now, I am super happy with this New Balance SC Elite V4. Not super fast in the beginning, but I kept a steady pace, and in the long term, won the race in comparison to my previous super shoe. And hence the namesake of the video, and how I could sum this shoe up in a couple words is long and steady wins the race. But yeah, other than that, I'm super happy with this product, paid for it with my own money. And I do think that $260 price tag comes back to value towards those, mile 10 onward, where you're thanking the shoe for keeping you fresh and keeping your turnover going. Whereas something for me like the Vaporfly series, I kind of lose that turnover, and I kind of hit a wall because my legs just start hurting, in my experience. So yeah, that's gonna do it for my thoughts on the SC Elite V4. I never had the SC Elite V3, so I couldn't really compare. The SC Elite V3 from reviews I saw wasn't for me. So there's no comparison with that shoe. So overall, thumbs up on the SC Elite V4. I recommend it to you all, and I'm happy to get more miles on it.